Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome. Oh, we got the radio on. Welcome to another episode of Driving with Randy. We're just pulling out here. We're going to do a podcast, believe it or not, on the way to work. Yeah, it's a pretty rare thing here. Normally I've been doing them on the way home, but we're going to do one on the way today. I've been what is she doing? Oh, she's installing a sticker on her car. Wonder what it's gonna say. Probably says like God, I don't even know. Some kind of a country thing, I imagine. This is the thing. I live in the suburbs, and people are all on that whole I'm a country girl kind of a thing. No, you're not. You wear camouflage and listen to country music. You're not from the country. You're a moron is what you are. You're a wannabe. Went to high school with a whole bunch of those people. They think they're country. Man, this intersection sucks balls. So there used to not be a neighborhood on the other side here. Once they added a neighborhood, it's impossible to get out because there's so many cars coming. I know Minnesota. We're gonna dip out in front of his car right here. He might be a little upset, but they patched the potholes today too. Good stuff. That's some good stuff. But yeah, there never used to be a whole lot of traffic here. But you add a neighborhood in with 40 houses. That's 40. They're family homes too, so they're probably each home probably has 2 cars. 2 people living there. So yeah, there's quite the number of cars on this road that hopefully they turn into a roundabout. They're big on making roundabouts. I know in my last episode I think I talked about how they're making a roundabout in this upcoming intersection that I'm going to be in. What was I going to talk about? I was going to talk about some very important, how I've been super motivated to make podcasts. It's kind of more in my eyes as a, I don't really care how this ends up. It's fun. I enjoy it. I edited 2 episodes today, so this would make this episode 8. I've got a Lara bar. I got my blueberry muffin one, last one, thank God. And then I'm going to probably go and buy like a handful of, apple pie ones. The apple pie ones are very good. I have good news. I got my tax return today. It's always nice to see that in the bank account, but I saw it in the bank account because I was taking money out of my bank account to pay my credit card off. But it was a nice surprise to see. I wasn't expecting it so soon. This is another episode we're going to be doing off the cuff. Don't really have a whole lot on my mind that I wanted to talk about. Man, there is just so much trash in that pond. I'm going to go over this weekend maybe and go pick up some trash from the pond. There's quite a bit over there. It's springtime, so, you see a whole bunch of trash on the ground. Things blow around, and it's a shame that the trash ends up getting there. Go, it's your turn. It's a shame that the trash ends up on the ground. I get it. Sometimes things happen. Something flies out your window. What I used to do is, back when I was flying drones, I'd be going down to the park 2-3 times a day. And something that kind of bothered me was if I crash. Remember, these are freestyle racing drones, so I crash all the time. I make repairs. It was no problem. If I crashed, sometimes I couldn't find the props because the props would go flying somewhere. And it kind of irritated me just because I like to keep things clean for the most part. So what I did was I made it my goal every time I go down to the park, which again, 2-3 times a day, I'd try and pick up, 2 or 3 pieces of trash, throw it in the garbage can. And I think, if everyone does that, we'd make the world a better place. The Earth's here, man. It's here. It doesn't need us trashing the place. Make it good for the next person that comes to life here. Which I tweeted yesterday on Twitter, actually. Oh, well, what the hell else am I going to tweet on? Of course I tweeted on Twitter. I tweeted at the governor. I said, get the local chain gang out to Highway 94. It's a mess everywhere. Those of you that aren't familiar with the chain gang, it's when they use prisoners for kind of community service, people who are deemed not, I assume it's people that are deemed not a threat to the public, and they call them the chain gang because they put handcuffs around the ankles or something, which attached to their hands so they couldn't run, but it's mobile enough to the point where they could pick up trash, kind of a community service kind of an ordeal. So I tweeted at the governor. I didn't get a reply, but that'd be kind of cool. Again, anytime I'm at the park nowadays, I try and pick up a piece of trash or two just to make the world a better place. There's another guy who I've seen do quite similar. I respect it. I thanked him one day. I said, "Hey man, I appreciate you helping pick up other people's trash." What the hell? There's like a giant refrigerator generator thing on the back of a truck here. We stopped at a red light. It'd be a red light challenge if I had plans for that. Hopefully by episode like 25 or something, I'm going to talk with my coworkers tonight. And alright, this blueberry, we got a green light. This blueberry Lara bar actually tastes pretty good today, though. I don't know, the first one I had just didn't taste as well. I didn't think it tasted like blueberry. But at work today, we'll go ahead and maybe someone had an idea. I talked to a couple of people, told them to get some brainstorming going. That's how this podcast is going to run. I need ideas on what to speak about. I can't just keep rambling on about useless. Oh, Jesus. See, I'm going the speed limit, but people want to go quicker, and I'm trying to move over, but cars keep moving over. Let me merge! Oh, sorry for the clipping there. I noticed that. That's a thing in the podcasting world. I've been listening to all right, there we go. Now we're moving over. I've been listening to a lot of YouTube to try and figure out the whole... if I were to get a second-hand audio thing, if this goes well, it cost me about $150, which if I have a little income and support from viewers, I have no problem dropping that money. But for now, we're going to start janky. As my description says, I'm an average Joe just trying to make it in the world of podcasting. We're using a little tiny iPhone microphone and then iPhone to record the audio. Well, what I am concerned about is it's still the acoustics in here and whatnot is just, it's not going to be the same quality as if I were at home. And I did something a little different in episode 6 and 7. I did a lot less editing so you can hear more background noise. I'm kind of curious as to if people will like that, because in the other episodes, the earlier ones, they kind of butchered. I kind of butchered the audio by taking out some of the background noise. But that's the thing, I can't mess with gain on my current setup. When I upgrade, I'll be able to mess with gain, so I feel like I'll be able to control the background noise a little more. And that'll just be a little bit of experimenting. For now, I'm just trying to speak. And there's usually a cop around this corner right here. I'm just trying to speak and get the hang of it. Someone in red light, so I'm going to see. I wonder if the cops are here. Nope, we're good. Kind of concerned about a cop seeing me with my one earbud in and going to pull me over. one day we're gonna not be able to have an earbud in. We're just gonna have a little lavalier, I believe is what they're called. Someone in the podcasting world knows a lot more than I do about this whole thing, but like I said, this is just for fun. So speaking of the earth, God, this is the highway that made me think of it. There's so much trash. It's really sad. I'd personally volunteer to go pick it up. There's a lot of stuff there. It'd take, 2-3 people an hour to clean up this whole thing. Man. Per section, I mean, there's different sections here. We get 20-30 volunteers, we could have this whole thing picked up. There's so much plastic and garbage. It's disgusting. Save the earth. Speaking of the earth, I don't know if I've talked about this yet. Every other Thursday after work, I head out to a local restaurant. They're known for what's called a Bluesy. It is a Juicy Lucy, but it's their version of it. They call it a Bluesy. If you're not familiar with what a Juicy Lucy is, it's a burger. It's a cheeseburger, but they put the cheese inside of it. There's another local place that I went to before. It was all right. It wasn't. I prefer. It's called the Blue Door Pub. That's where we meet. I like the Blue Door. Very good. Very good burgers. It's cheap. The service is great. But how it all came about was, I know, and I'll get to how this is wrapped to the whole earth thing. I know I was talking about the earth. I'll get to how that's all wrapped up. But essentially, we were talking about burgers at work one day, and this guy was like, oh, I know this really good burger joint, but I've never been there. I'm like, oh yeah? How do you know it's good? He's like, I had some friends tell me about it. Okay, all right, yeah, cool. And he kept harassing me. Yellow light. Man, this would be a red light challenge right here. We're hitting all the red lights today. I should scare this guy, like plow into the sidewalk. He'd be... That wouldn't be good. That's reckless driving. But, sorry, I'm eating my blueberry Larabar. This is going to be a pretty lengthy podcast with all the red lights if I make it all the way to work with topics to discuss. Pretty dang good. This is a good bar. I've been eating a little slower too because apparently eating slower makes you less hungry. When I used to eat, I used to just devour my food and I'd just be hungry all day long. I'm not a scientist or a medical profession, so I don't know if that's accurate. I just heard that chewing makes you less hungry, if you will. Anyways, so this guy's harassing me nonstop for a couple of weeks. He's like, let's go get a burger. Let's go get a burger. And me, being the antisocial kid that I am, I say no every single time. I don't know what was stopping me. I didn't like going out. I kind of was a sit at home all day, go to work, go straight home from work, the end. Every single day. Not really oh, you want to go out to eat? But we're getting to that period in life where I'm starting to get out a little more. But one day at work, we both got cut at the same time. He's like, so, Road Rage Randy, are we going to get a burger today or what? I'm like, sure, why not? Let's go. So we go to this place, pretty dang good. Never been there. It was actually trivia night the first time we went. So we were doing trivia, just having fun. It's in a college town, so a bunch of college girls, college guys sitting around and just enjoying trivia and whatnot. Ooh, a motorcycle. Gotta start watching for them here. See, maybe that guy works right. I can't focus. I lose train of my thoughts. So we go get a burger, and about 2 weeks later, he brings up, "You want to go get a burger again?" I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's go. So that's how my whole socializing thing kind of began. And we sat at the same table again, and I said to the guy, I'm like, "Nick, we're going to have him on one time. We're going to have him on one time. He's going to want to talk about, like, World of Warcraft or something, which I know nothing about, but we need to appeal to everybody. You know, I'm open to learning about World of Warcraft, so we'll get him on." But I point to this table, and it's like the party table. You know, it's a high top. It's got maybe 8 to 10 seats at it, where your typical has 4. I want to say that this has 8 to 10 seats at it. And I go, "Nick, one day we're going to fill that table up with people." And we were both kind of skeptical at the time. We're just like, yeah, no one's going to want to come out to eat with us. But we ended up getting this other lady that was working at our work at the time. She had a government job. She was doing this for to look good for a scholarship that she was applying for. So she was totally out of place at this working facility. She was already set, but we got her, and she liked speaking to us because, I don't know, we're kind of stall blocking ramp to 35E North. Use caution. Well, it's a good thing I'm not going to 35E North, so that's a good sign. But we get this lady to come out to eat with us, and she enjoyed herself. She spent way too much time working. Like, she'd get up at 6 a.m. and she wouldn't be done until our shift was done, which is 9 o'clock. Ooh, the police, St. Paul police. Trusted service with respect. I like that line. That's a good line. I like that. They got that on their cars, I guess. So she comes out to eat with us, kind of a getaway, an escape, if you will. And she just kept coming back week after week. And soon we're like, we need to think of something to name this, so we can invite people out and whatnot. So what we went with was the Flat Earth Society. We called it our Flat Earth meeting. Now, the reason we went with this name is people, people find out that we're going out to eat, we're inviting people, and they don't get an invite. Well, soon people, you stupid fucking Honda, get the hell out of here. Cutting in front of me like that. Piece of shit. Alright. Anyways. We got some merging going on right now. That is, a bus just cutting people up. Well, we call it the Flat Earth Society. People find out, hey, we're going to, they're inviting people, why didn't I get an invite? And then they find out, oh, it's a Flat Earth Society meeting. I don't believe in the flat earth. Flat Earth's for idiots. Ha ha ha. Little do they know, we don't talk about the flat earth. But if we do, it's in a joking manner. We talk about so much stuff. Let me give you a level of the kind of stuff we speak about. Just because I'm going to start rambling about this, I might as well go ahead and say we're averaging about 6 to 7 people every other week now. Every other meeting, we're averaging 6 to 7 people. So we have grown significantly. Some weeks we'll have the full table full plus some standers. People are invited, but they have to be open-minded. And one of the full-time supervisors that actually never gets to come out because he's working during that time, he thinks we're actually flat earthers, right? So we get everyone who shows up, the most random people ever. We're just like, all right, you gotta tell full-time supervisor that you're a flat earther now. And his reaction every time, we get these people who never in a million years would you think would hang out with us. But we get them going up to him, yo, the earth is flat, by the way. And it's good humor. But the kind of stuff we talk about. So we had a guy join in one day, and he just thinks that we're nut jobs, right? And we start going off about how, like, Abraham Lincoln sailed the 8 seas with Christopher Columbus. I know what you're thinking, 8 seas, but I came up with a conclusion. There was actually 8 seas. One of the seas fell off the earth. It's flat. It fell off the earth. So now there's 7. That's the kind of nonsense we come up with. Just bullshitting, you know. I'd go have half my Larabar left. I'm like, I'm pretty close to work. Like I said, I didn't really have a whole lot to talk about today. Kind of off the cuff again. I kind of like these because it forces me to just think and come up with things that I can speak about. Actually, there is another thing that I was thinking about earlier that I'd like to address. I saw on Instagram that Megan Phelps Roper, if you are unaware who she is, she did an episode with Joe Rogan, but I knew of her before that. What is this car doing? This car's going 50. Move over or something. I can't. Oh my God. We're stuck. I mean, we're trapped going 50. We can get behind this car now. Megan Phelps Roper, I knew about her before she was on Rogan, but she had a really good episode with Rogan. I used to be very into cults and watching documentaries on cults, and just the whole idea of religion was very interesting to me. I myself am a confirmed Christian. I wouldn't say I'm a practicing Christian. I don't go to church, but I am confirmed within the religion. But just religion, it's very interesting to me how people can believe different things. Like, to me, something might be completely stupid and foreign, but to another person, it's what they believe in. I totally respect someone's First Amendment right to believe whatever they'd like. So Megan Phelps Roper, the Phelps family is the family behind the Westboro Baptist Church. If you're not familiar with the Westboro Baptist Church, they're known for picketing dead soldiers' funerals, standing outside schools or other churches, other kind of gatherings with signs that say things like "God hates fags," stuff like that, and they'll quote the Bible at you. Look them up on YouTube. You get the idea of what they are. But Megan Phelps Roper, she was part of the church, and from my understanding is she had Twitter, and it wasn't until she started having conversations with the outside world that made her think that the way she's living and the beliefs that her mom, Shirley, was putting on her, she just became very skeptical. But she appeared in my Instagram feed, and I wasn't aware that she actually had a book. I guess it's releasing in the UK here soon. It's called Unfollow, a Memoir About Life. Something like that. I'd really like to read that. If I do go ahead and read that, as it is very interesting to me, I will definitely keep you guys informed on the podcast about how I liked it, what my thoughts on it were. But she was on Joe Rogan. I'm not sure what episode it was. Just look up Joe Rogan, Megan Phelps Roper, and she will come up. She left the church though, and I don't know, I guess on Instagram, she looks like she's living a good life. She's enjoying it, which is important. Another Rogan that was pretty good, that's kind of along the same lines. It's actually, it didn't have to do with the Westboro Baptist Church, but, you know, another cult, if you will. The Scientology. Joe had Leah Remini, I believe. Remini. I don't know how to say her name. She's the wife from the King of Queens, if you are familiar with that sitcom. Yeah, Leah. She was a Scientologist, lifelong Scientologist with her mother, I believe. And she ended up leaving the organization. And she just had some really good stories to tell on Rogan. I very much enjoyed that episode as well. I don't even know how I got to talking about this whole religion thing, but I could probably go on and on about it, as I have watched a lot of documentaries. I don't remember as much as I'd like, but man, there's so much. The one out in I forget the name of it. The one out in like Utah. There's the People's Agriculture. That's Jones. People know that is Jonestown, but the religion was known as the People's Place of Agriculture, or something like that. Like I said, it's been a while since I looked into a lot of this stuff, but it's all very intriguing to me. So maybe I will have to look into such a thing a little further. I'm surprised my Lara bar is not gone. I've been too busy rambling on and on and on. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to talk at work to my coworkers, because it feels like forever, because I had those red lights. This guy next to me looks like he's podcasting too, or maybe he's just on the telephone. You better not be stealing my idea, you stupid Toyota something or other. I don't know cars either. All I know is we're coming at you live from a Toyota Sienna, which is a pretty solid van. Another motorcycle. Motorcycles are getting out. Gotta be aware of them. But we're getting close to work. I see the lights green right now. It's gonna certainly be red when I get there. That would be three red lights that we hit. We gotta come up with some kind of a red light challenge. And I think what I'll do is I'll have it, if I'm first in line for the red light. If I'm like 6 cars back, we're not doing a red light challenge. First in line for the red light, make it a little more rare. But I think with that, I want to say thank you guys very much for joining into episode 8. I will brainstorm some ideas, and hopefully we can get back to you. It looks like just about 28 minutes we were live for, which that's a pretty decent length podcast compared to some of them. Been hitting 20s and 25s lately, so a couple extra minutes is always good. I appreciate you all as always. This is episode 8, so we have 2 more until I will be releasing. You guys are going to be excited. Like I said, the first 10 are kind of a trial period, so I feel like episode 11, episode 12 are certainly going to get a lot better in quality. This is just kind of, first 10 episodes are getting me kind of used to the whole idea of speaking to myself. But with that, I know you guys have heard that over the course of like 4 or 5 podcasts now. I don't need you guys hearing it anymore. You guys don't want to. I want to thank, a food truck. Food truck's pulled over. What is it? Mexican food. They probably serving taquitos and tacos. Oh, baby, that sounds delicious right now. But I'm ending this podcast like a true Minnesotan. If you don't know anything about us Minnesotans, when we say bye to people, it's not bye. It is It is all right, man. I'm gonna be heading out here. Oh, by the way, and then you sit there and you speak for 20 more minutes before you actually end up calling it a day. So if you're still here, I commend you for that. That is that's good. That's good on you for sticking around for a true Minnesotan goodbye. But as I am one turn away now from work, we are going to call that a podcast. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. I'm your host, Road Rage Randy. See ya!